Hi, it's Linda with No Frills ASMR. I have the weekend exclusive newspaper from Knoxville News here, and I thought maybe we could just look and see what's in here. I have just gotten back. You didn't know I was gone, hopefully, but I just got back from a family reunion in Kentucky, and there was kind of a family emergency, so instead of going back home, I came here to Tennessee, to my parents' house, and I'll tell you about my Kentucky vacation, but all the paperwork from that I left in my car. But this is a newspaper from Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's from Sunday, June 30th. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, I guess it's after that. I'm so confused. But it says weekend exclusive, and it has a picture of a cave, and look in a face, a head, and then a tree that looks like the brain, and it says sharp till the end. And this is kind of interesting to me because a lot of you who've watched my videos before, you know my dad has Alzheimer's, and he is working hard to combat that. And, you know, as a child of his, I also, am trying to do things to keep my brain sharp, which is part of why I started this channel to begin with. So anyway, it'd be interesting to look at this article, but there are other articles in here that look interesting too. So it says, scientists to study brain of superager to learn more about the process. I'm not going to read. Sorry, my little pop filter was falling off my mic. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but we'll just kind of skim it and see what we can learn. It says Judith Hansen took a while to tell her father's story, but that was understandable. Maury Markoff, who died June 3rd, lived to the age of 110. And what a life he led. 110. My grandmother, on my mom's side, lived to be 104. So 110, whew, that's a long time. Good for him. But 104 is pretty darn good, too. Born in a New York tenement to Jewish immigrant parents, Markoff had just an 8th grade education, but was nonetheless a lifelong learner. Trained as a machinist, he moved west, married his wife Betty in 1938, and started a business. During their 80-plus years of marriage, wow, 80-year marriage, the Markoffs raised 2 children, traveled the world, including trips to Mexico, China, Japan, and what was then the Soviet Union, and walked 3 miles a day together into their 9th decade before Betty died in 2019 at the age of 103. Wow. Okay, so they're walking 3 miles a day. They're lifelong learners, and they travel, which I think just traveling, it's like a workout for your brain. You should try to keep your brain like doing workouts all the time any way you can. It's good for your brain. Almost like exercise, you know. We're all very aware of how lucky we were to have him around, Hansen said. He's very much in our minds, and he was quite the character. That's so cool. Oh, look, here's a picture of Maury and Betty. Were married for more than 80 years. Aw, that's so sweet. I guess here he is with his grandson when he was, oh, this is recent, so he was 110. Wow. And there he is. He wrote, sculpted, and kept himself engaged in the world. His daughter said keeping mentally active was one of the keys to his longevity. That's so cool. He did have a stroke, it says, and he required hospice care. he donated his brain for research. That's so cool. And his daughter joked with him about donating his organs. But then they decided they wouldn't want them because they're so old. What do we have here? Oh, this is a study shows urban areas can boost biodiversity. And it's about busy bees. You know, I did a video, if you're interested, about I'm trying to start, being a beekeeper. But I've kind of messed it up because I ended up traveling back and forth to Tennessee and to Michigan, and it's just been a lot of things going on this spring and summer. And I also went to Alaska for fun. But and what you have to do is get a nuke, which is like the beginning of your bee colony. And you can buy a nuke, but I'd had nukes or hives swarm in my backyard twice that I've seen. And so I thought I could just attract them and capture them. Like that's what you do. And it almost worked. I had tons of bees one time. I got so excited, but they didn't stick around. So now it's awfully late. I don't even know if I can still get a nuke. So I don't know and now I'm not home again. So it's kind of hard. I'm not sure. But someday I will have bees. I have all this stuff for it. It says the earth is losing animals, plants, and other living things so fast that some scientists believe the planet is entering its sixth mass extinction. But there's some surprising good news. Urban areas may be the key to slowing down or even reversing this crisis. This idea may seem counterintuitive, since studies show that urbanization is a big driver of biodiversity loss. Cities alter the environment with artificial lighting and noise pollution. The town where I live has just redone their whole downtown area to make it not have what's the word for it? Light pollution. I don't know. Light that goes up. So all the lights face down, and then they have planters that are kind of lit from below. And it's pretty cool. It looks really nice at night too. I just was like, wow, this is cool. And it makes the night sky darker so you can see stars, but it also doesn't affect bats and animals that live in the night, I guess. Let's see. Urban lands cover is expected to increase by 2.5% globally between the year 2000 and 2030 as people move to cities. So, I don't know what this article is saying, but anywhere you can, plant milkweed for butterflies, and if you're a person who might enjoy keeping bees, or even just planting a wildflower garden for the bees, that's super helpful. And then where you can, don't use insecticides or even herbicides on your lawn so that some clover can grow for the bees and the birds. The butterflies, which also helps the birds in turn. The circle of life. So yeah, I don't know. Anywhere you can make green space. If you're not in the desert, I guess. Okay. Retirement. Ugh, I'm so sick of hearing about retirement. Because I've always, since I was after being a waitress, I've always just been self-employed. And, there's not really a retirement plan. So you have to be super self-disciplined and open up a Roth IRA and make sure you're putting money aside and keeping up with your bills. So I recommend being self-employed if you are a person who can do that. But it is hard to do. And when you talk to other people, they're all getting, what do you call them, pensions, or the other thing is well, I guess it depends. I mean, you do pay into Social Security, so you do get that as a self-employed, but I don't think it'll be as much as, I mean, maybe just because my businesses, they're not like booming, they're just small businesses. Anyway, but yeah, I'm at an age where everybody wants to talk about retirement. And it used to be people didn't talk about money, but now, like, I don't know if it's just my being that attracts it, but I get so many people talking to me about their retirement. And I'm like, I don't have a pension. So. But anyway, let's see what they say about it. Okay, who wants to be a millionaire? I do. Me. Economists believe most retirees can live comfortably on far less. I agree with that. But it probably depends on how you've lived up until retirement. Like, I have been a very frugal person my whole life, and I don't think I could change, like, so I'll just be frugal forever. But I think if you're a person who lived sort of above your means, you're going to need more money for retirement. So it just depends. What do they say? If you want to retire in comfort, investment firms and news headlines tell us you may need $1 million in the bank, or maybe not. One prominent, and by the way, my brother-in-law says $2 million in the bank is what they now recommend. $2 million. Or maybe not. One prominent economist says you can retire for a lot less, 50 to 100,000 in total savings. Oof, 50,000 in total savings to retire seems not like enough to me. He points to the experiences of actual retirees as evidence. Well, maybe if you have a pension and Social Security, then maybe you could retire with less in the bank. But for someone like me, I'd have to pull from that savings. That wouldn't be enough. Okay. He points to the experience of actual retirees as evidence. You don't need to be a millionaire to retire, says the headline of a column by Andrew Biggs, a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute think tank, and published in April in the Wall Street Journal. Okay. What does he say we do need? It says your financial advisors tell you to save 10 times your annual salary for retirement. So what's your annual salary? Times that by 10, and they're saying that's how much you'll need for retirement. Enough. That makes me laugh because I was a waitress. And, you claim your tips. We all know what happens, right? So it wouldn't be much. Anyway, okay, enough cash that you can live on 4% of the balance for a year. In one widely reported survey, Americans said they would need $1.46 million in the bank to retire comfortably. $1.46 million in the bank. Wow. I don't think people in Europe, actually, I have a lot of people who watch who are from European countries. You guys don't think this way, do you? I feel like this is probably a very American thing. But also, we don't have health care. We have, when you get old, you can get a thing called Medicare. But it doesn't cover everything. So you still end up spending out of pocket for things, I think. I'm not that old yet, so I don't know. But I just, from listening to my parents and stuff, I think you still pay for things with that. But you don't pay monthly for Medicare. But you don't get that until you're, is it 69 now? 69. I don't remember, but anyway, whatever. Okay. So, but I think in Europe they have, most countries have healthcare provided. So you don't have to worry about that cost. And that makes a big difference, I think. Biggs disagrees. To prove his point, the economists looked at responses to the Federal Survey of Household Economics and Decision Making between 2019 and 2022. The survey asked retirement age Americans, 65 to 74, how well they were managing financially. A majority, roughly 85%, said they were just fine. They were living comfortably or at least doing okay. Only 15% said they were struggling. The finding matters, Biggs says, because most retirees have much less than $1 million in the bank. In the federal survey, the typical senior who reported a satisfactory retirement had 50 to 100,000 in savings. Are they including like your 401ks or Roth IRAs, or are we talking bank savings account? And also, have they paid off their mortgage? Do they own their own cars? Like, there's a lot of, everybody's going to be different. Okay. Well, this makes me feel a little better. It's impossible to find any evidence that seniors need even a fraction of 1.46 million in savings to be financially secure. Well, I do think that financial advisors have something to gain in telling you that, because don't they get, I could be totally wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't financial advisors get like 20% of gains that they make with your money? Is that made up? That might be made up. It could be 2%. I don't know. But I feel like it's a lot. And financial advisors are always driving around in like Mercedes Benzes. So I know they're making a lot of money. All right. So anyway, so maybe we can retire on less than 1.46 million. Okay. I don't really have plans to ever retire, because a lot of what I do, like, let's say this channel, for instance, not that I'm making any real money off it, but why would I stop doing it, I enjoy it. And same thing with my other jobs. I think one of my businesses maybe I'd stop doing because it's become tedious, but my other business I would keep doing because I really enjoy it. Yeah, anyway. All right, what does this say? It's a betrayal when spouses keep secrets about money. Oh, yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't know. My husband and I, when we got married, we immediately just started a joint bank account, and luckily we've almost always been on the same page. I'm not going to say there hasn't been moments of, feeling like, you always think like, oh, what do you spend all that money for, whatever, but not really. I'd say for the most part, we are both on the same page, more now than ever, because we've been married for 30 years. Okay, understanding arthritis. Ooh. Warning signs, causes of the disease that affect more than 58 million in the U.S. That's a lot of people. And isn't arthritis a lot of times connected with, other autoimmune like psoriasis, and it can become a form of arthritis, right? Few medical conditions seem as inevitable with aging as does arthritis. It is understandable assumption considering that the Center of Disease Control and Prevention estimates that the disorder affects more than 58 million adults in the United States alone. Arthritis is a very common condition that varies in severity and can affect people of all ages, but it is more prevalent in the elderly, said Dr. John White, a practicing physician in Washington, D.C. All right, well, it is considered a manageable condition for most individuals. Yeah, but it's uncomfortable, I'm sure. I've been pretty lucky. So far, my joints feel pretty good. When I was in Kentucky, I did some hiking and kept up with all the young people in the group, so I felt pretty good about that. All right. Nutrient-packed strawberries might be summer's superfruit. I got some strawberries the other day that were delicious. You know how you buy the strawberries in the wintertime that come from well, it's weird. They either come from Mexico or sometimes Canada, so I don't know what Canada. They must hydroponic grow them. But they never taste good. But these ones must have been local that I had because they tasted like candy and they were delicious. Few fruits can match the mass appeal of strawberries, but you have to eat them immediately or they just go. It's like you have to, I don't know. I always end up with a few that I save for later and they go bad. A refreshing summer snack on their own, strawberries are also a popular ingredient in many dishes, drinks, and desserts. As one of the favorite fruits of people around the world. Is that true? People around the world? I don't know. A nutrition author and registered dietitian. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, strawberries are an essential ingredient in fruit tarts. Never made a fruit tart, but I've had a Pop-Tart strawberry unfrosted. That's my favorite Pop-Tart. Not that I eat them, except when I backpack. Smoothies, strawberry shortcake, yum. Flavored lemonade, yogurt parfaits, and daiquiris. Oh my gosh. I can't even think when I had a strawberry daiquiri last. I have had probably 20 years ago, but I have had a strawberry margarita. My mom makes a strawberry shortcake. She's a southerner, and she makes the shortcake. It's almost like a American biscuit, like a southern biscuit, not like a cookie for you England people, but it's like a fluffy biscuit, but it's a little bit sweet. Oh, it's good. It might be, that's what a shortcake. See, in the grocery stores, they sell a thing they call shortcake, but it's like a sponge cake. It's like a Twinkie sponge. But this thing's more like a drop biscuit that's a little sweet. Oh, it's delicious. And then you use real whipping cream. It's like a little milk carton of whipping cream. And you put that in with sugar and whip it with your blender till it's fluffy. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's so good, you guys. I want that right now. That sounds delicious. Don't be sunk without it. Pack these items for smooth sailing during your next cruise. Hey, I just got back from a cruise. Well, it's been a month, I guess, but what do they tell you to bring? Let's see, travel documents. Yeah, you gotta have your passport and your photo ID. They say banks also suggest making copies or taking photos to have as backup of what? You may need your passport. Oh, a copy of your passport. You know, my husband, he was an Eagle Scout, so he's always prepared. And he actually does that. He has photos of our passport and driver's license, and he has them on the phone, I think, and then also he has a paper copy just in case. But I appreciate that he is prepared because I just throw everything in a suitcase and go, let's go. Some destinations also require other documents like visas and banks. And banks recommended bringing a copy of any travel insurance information. Okay. Medication. Many cruise ships onboard medical facilities and I'm sorry, I can't read. Many cruise ships, I did read it right, onboard medical facilities and personnel who, I think they're missing a word. Anyway, who can prescribe medication. Yeah, but if you don't have the insurance, then you have to pay for that, and it can be very expensive to go to the medical facility on board the ship, I think. But supplies are limited, so bring your medications, okay, and bring something for headaches or We always bring Tylenol, Advil, some kind of anti diarrhea just in case, or gas X, things like that. But pack a little bit of all that stuff so you're ready. Because if you ever need to buy like Advil on board and you go to the store on the ship, they'll charge you way too much for it. Let's see, rechargeable devices, portable chargers, and extra rechargeable batteries can come in handy. Yeah, we do that. Sun protection. Yeah, definitely bring sunglasses, sunscreen. Yep, true. Cruise-friendly attire. And they say swimsuits, blah, blah, blah. But it depends on where you're going. Because, well, we did get in the hot tub in Alaska, but... Alright, well, that was kind of a nice little insert in the newspaper.